Today we will boldly go where no man has gone before. Actually, about 4,000 people have gone there before, at least as of the making of this video. Welcome to Gimme 2, and today we're going to climb to the top of Mount Everest in just 2 minutes. Now, if you want to get to the 2-minute climb, that is timestamped below, but if you stick around for a couple of minutes, you might learn a little bit. So Mount Everest, named for George Everest, the former Surveyor General of India, also known as Chomolungma in Tibetan and Sagarmatha in Nepalese, is the mountain with the highest peak above sea level. Now, I use that term because it's very specific, because it's not the tallest mountain in the world per se. That would belong to Mauna Kea, but most of that mountain is underwater. It's also not the point on Earth that is closest to space. That honor goes to Chimborazo in Ecuador, but since the Earth is not a perfect sphere and it bulges near the equator, Chimborazo actually gets a little bit closer to space. So the altitude of Mount Everest is 29,031.7 feet, which is actually a little higher than it was prior to a recent survey in December of 2020. I should also specify, when talking about the route up, I'm specifically referring to the point after base camp, because until that point, anyone can technically trek. After that, you need a specific permit. I'm also specifically referring to the southern route, the one from Nepal, as that is by far the most commercialized route. There are other popular routes, 16 potentially, and there's another fairly famous route from the north in Tibet. To reach base camp, it generally requires a flight from wherever you might be to Kathmandu, a domestic flight from Kathmandu to Lukla at the foothills of the Himalaya, and then a roughly 1-week hike from Lukla through Sherpa villages to base camp at about 17,500 feet. At that point, we've reached the beginning of our trek. So we can get the clock started now. The climb begins when you enter the Khumbu Icefall, which is literally a glaciated frozen waterfall that can be unpredictable and dangerous. There are seracs, which are story-tall blocks of ice that can collapse at any moment. There are crevasses, which are 100-foot deep cracks in the ice, and there are constant potentials of avalanches. At the top of the Khumbu Icefall, you reach Camp 1 at about 19,900 feet. From Camp 1, trekkers go across the western Khum through the Valley of Silence, named for its silence, lack of life, and lack of wind, where they reach Camp 2 at about 21,500 feet. Through the western Khum, you are surrounded by some of the tallest mountains on Earth. There is Everest to the left, Nuptse to the right, and Lhotse straight ahead. From Camp 2, climbers cross a bergschrund, which is a deep crevasse at the base of a mountain, and head up the Lhotse face, literally the 4th tallest mountain on planet Earth. They pass Camp 3 at about 24,500 feet before veering left. From there, they cross over the Yellow Band and Geneva Spur, which are the first exposed rock formations on the mountain, and then they arrive at Camp 4 at about 26,500 feet. Camp 4 sits in the death zone, named because it is so high that life can't sustain itself for extended periods of time. It sits in the South Col being the lowest point between 2 major peaks, in this case Everest and Lhotse, and serves as the final resting place before the summit push. Climbers then trek across the South Col to the balcony, a small area where you could change your oxygen, take some pictures, and then go across the southeast ridge to the south summit. Climbers then trek across an exposed ridge with thousands-foot drops on either side called the Cornice Traverse. This ends with the Hillary Step, a steep rock incline named for Edmund Hillary, arguably the first summiter of Mount Everest. From the Hillary Step, it's a short trek to the top of the world. Congratulations, you've reached the summit at 8,848 meters, or 29,031 feet. I hope you enjoyed that video. This was actually my first 2-minute video that I've made. If you did, please like and subscribe. I hope to make more of these, and I hope you can join me along the way. Thank you so much for watching.